What if I told you a rising Chicago drill star just survived a car riddled with over 60 bullets, and the reason behind it might shock the entire hip-hop world? Rumors of a $60,000 setup, betrayal, and street revenge have the internet buzzing nonstop, and today, we are breaking down every chilling detail. New video just surfaced showing the chaotic moments right after Q50 got shot, and let me tell you, it is intense. But the story does not stop there. Rumors tying the shooting to a $60,000 debt and a carefully planned setup have the internet buzzing nonstop. Here is the full breakdown. When the news hit, the streets went into full panic mode. On the morning of August 17, 2025, the hip-hop world got rocked by wild rumors that had the entire drill scene on edge. Social media exploded like a corner store on payday. At the center of all this chaos was none other than Bloodhound Q50, the young Chi-Town artist who has been dominating the drill scene with his raw street anthems. This 20-year-old from Chicago's East Side had been making waves in the streets, and now the streets seemed ready to respond. Q50 was not just another young rapper trying to make a name for himself. He carried the weight of a real street life behind his music. His rise had been marked by losses, conflicts, and a reputation that made people listen closely when his name came up. Early reports about what happened in St. Louis painted a scene so brutal that even hardened street veterans would think twice before stepping out. According to multiple viral posts circulating on social media, Q50 had allegedly caught a severe fade in St. Louis, Missouri. His car was reportedly riddled with over 60 Draco bullets, leaving him and 4 others fighting for their lives. The details were so grim and precise that fans across the country were left wondering if this would mark yet another tragic chapter in drill music history. Videos, screenshots, and eyewitness accounts flooded Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, creating a storm of speculation and panic. People debated whether it was a real attack or just another exaggerated street rumor, but the level of detail made it feel painfully real. The motive behind the attack quickly became the focus of the conversation. Rumors suggested that Q50 had allegedly finessed some St. Louis associates out of $60,000. According to these posts, the Missouri group had allegedly orchestrated a trap, booking Q50 for what he thought was a regular performance. Instead, the stage had been set for a calculated ambush. For fans, this story read like a plot from a gangster movie. The young rapper arrives for a show, expecting to earn a check, only to find himself in a life-or-death situation. As the story spread, street commentators and fans dissected every angle. Some claimed Q50 had been caught slipping while leaving a club, while others named local rappers CTS, Lou Wick, and Houdini as the alleged masterminds behind the attack. Social media feeds were flooded with speculation, theories, and sometimes outright misinformation. People were shocked not just by the idea of the shooting itself, but by the narrative of retaliation and calculated street justice behind it. The proof that shook everyone the most came in the form of an Instagram story showing police cars and ambulances outside what looked like a hospital, with the caption, "Check on Bloodhound Q50." For fans who had followed Q50's rise from the beginning, it felt like watching their worst fears come to life. The drill community reacted instantly, flooding every platform with messages of concern and prayers. Comments like, "Damn, that's wild," and "Prayers up, hope they pull through," filled timelines. For a generation already devastated by street violence, the story of Q50 in St. Louis felt like another heartbreaking chapter in a pattern that had been repeated far too often. While social media buzzed, some critical questions began to emerge. Major St. Louis news outlets and the local police department were silent. Stations like KSDK and Fox 2 had no reports of a shooting involving Q50 on August 17, 2025. In an era when rumors can spread faster than verified news, the lack of coverage raised red flags for those paying attention. The specific claims, the number of bullets, the $60,000 debt, and the named shooters were incredibly detailed, yet no mainstream outlet confirmed the story. This tension between social media hype and official silence left fans and observers questioning what had really happened. Understanding why these rumors gained traction requires knowing who Q50 really is. Born McQuail Cooper on August 6, 2004, Q50 is not a performer acting out gangster fantasies for the camera. From Chicago's East Side, he grew up immersed in a world shaped by poverty, violence, and instability. His family life was complicated, and school was never a safe or structured environment. Expelled for bringing a BB gun to class, he eventually finished his education through an alternative online program. Viral videos of him being jumped in high school became part of his public image, demonstrating early on that he was no stranger to real street conflict. Q50's connections to Bloodhound 079, a Chicago drill rap group with documented ties to gang activity, only solidified his reputation. These associations were not just musical, they involved real-world consequences. Family members close to him, including his cousin and collaborator Lil Jeff, were killed in violent incidents tied to ongoing gang feuds. Q50 himself had survived a shooting in the past, leaving a bullet lodged in his leg, a permanent reminder of the dangers surrounding his life. These experiences made it easy for fans to believe that the St. Louis shooting could have been real. The environment of drill rap also fuels the rapid spread of such rumors. In a genre where authenticity is valued above all else, fans expect artists to reflect their real lives in their music. When Q50's name is attached to a violent incident, it fits the narrative of his songs, lyrics, and public persona. The deaths of other drill artists, including Pop Smoke, FBG Duck, and King Von, reinforce the idea that violence is not an anomaly but an expected part of the culture. This context made the St. Louis rumors feel inevitable, even before facts could be verified. Social media and the industry itself play roles in amplifying these dangers. Platforms like Instagram and Twitter allow for rapid dissemination of both real and false information, while record labels often exploit conflict for attention and profit. This creates a feedback loop where the line between music, persona, and reality becomes almost impossible to separate. Fans consume rumors as if they were content, turning near tragedies into viral discussions in a matter of hours. For Q50, the St. Louis rumors were another reminder of the risks tied to his life and career. Whether real or exaggerated, the story highlights the dangerous intersection of fame, street credibility, and music in the drill scene. It also shows how quickly the culture has normalized violence, making incidents like these feel not only plausible but almost expected. In the world of drill rap, where authenticity and survival are intertwined, the streets always have a voice, and for Q50, it may be louder than ever. But the real shocker was the reason behind it all. Word spread fast that Q50 allegedly scammed some St. Louis guys out of $60,000. And these were not the kind of people to simply let that slide. The emerging story suggested they set up a trap, booking Q50 for a fake show to lure him into their city where they could handle business on their terms. It was classic, calculated street revenge. Rumors claimed Q50 showed up in St. Louis thinking he was about to make quick money, only to walk straight into what the streets called a professional setup. The narrative suggested local rappers turned what should have been a normal performance into a real-life gangster scenario. Early Sunday morning, news broke that Chicago artist Q50, known for his ties to RP Bloodhound and Lil Jeff, was shot in St. Louis, along with 4 others. Their car was riddled with bullets, and all victims were reported in critical condition. As the story spread across social media and local hoods, more details came out, some claiming Q50 got caught slipping while leaving a club, with alleged footage circulating online. While the authenticity of the video remained unverified, other reports pointed fingers at St. Louis rappers CTS, Lou Wick, and Ree Houdini, allegedly retaliating for ongoing online beef with Q50. The streets were left reeling, and the drill scene shook like never before. The moment that really shook everyone came from an Instagram story that spread faster than family gossip at a barbecue. Someone posted a video with the caption, "Check on Bloodhound Q50," showing police cars and ambulances outside what looked like a hospital. For fans who had been following Q50 since day one, it felt like watching their worst nightmare unfold in real time. Q50 is the type of artist who taunts people, and that energy has always been part of his persona. So when news of the shooting hit, the hip-hop community reacted instantly. Fans flooded every platform, from TikTok to Twitter, expressing shock and sending prayers for Q50 and the others involved. Comments like, "Damn, that's wild," and "Prayers up, hope they pull through," filled timelines everywhere. For a generation that had already lost too many young artists to street violence, this felt like another heartbreaking blow. As the story unfolded, some people framed Q50 not just as a victim, but as someone whose lifestyle and street reputation may have caught up with him. Fans and observers suggested that violence like this was almost inevitable given his lyrics and the way he carried himself. Representing Bloodhound 079, a real street group from Chicago's East Side, and rapping about street life, meant that the risk of confrontation was always present. If being gangster were an Olympic sport, Q50 would be a top contender. Even so, something about the story did not fully add up. Major St. Louis news outlets were silent. The St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department had no reports of a shooting involving Q50 on August 17, 2025. Local stations like KSDK and Fox 2 had nothing on a story that should have dominated front pages. The silence from official sources raised doubts, especially given the extreme specificity of the social media claims, exact bullet counts, $60,000 deaths, and alleged shooter names. In the age of social media, where rumors spread fast, the lack of coverage by legitimate outlets made people question whether this event had actually happened. To understand why the rumors gained so much traction, it helps to know who Q50 really is. Born McQuail Cooper on August 6, 2004, Q50 is not a suburban kid playing gangster for the cameras. He is a 20-year-old from Chicago's East Side, truly shaped by the streets. His rise to fame is intertwined with real violence, loss, and authentic street credibility that cannot be manufactured in a studio. Q50's story began around 79th Street and Maryland Avenue, an area defined by poverty and violence that often decides whether young men survive or become statistics. His early life was unstable. He spent time in Gary, Indiana, and spoke openly about a strained relationship with his father. School was difficult. He faced expulsion for bringing a BB gun to class and had to continue his education online after being withdrawn by his mother. A viral high school video showing him being jumped by peers later became part of his public image. Q50's connection to Bloodhound 079 is not just musical. BH is a Chicago drill rap group tied to real gang activity at 79th Street and Maryland Avenue. This organization has been involved in violent conflicts over the years, resulting in multiple deaths. For Q50, the line between music and street life has always been thin, and that is what made the rumors about his shooting feel so real to fans. Now, let us talk about the real situation. Q50 and Lil Jeff were not just rappers, they had a style that set them apart from most others. But the most devastating moment in Q50's young life came with the death of his cousin and closest collaborator, Bloodhound Lil Jeff, who was killed on June 8, 2024. Jeff's death was not random. It was part of an ongoing street war between Bloodhound 079 and Trap City, a conflict that had already taken multiple lives. Jeff was shot 19 times while attempting a hit on a Trap City member, showing just how real the violence in the drill scene could get. Rumors spread that Q50 was there when Jeff was killed. Those rumors were partly true. Q50 has admitted being present during the incident that led to Jeff's death, putting him directly in the line of fire in these violent gang conflicts. While he denied witnessing the actual shooting, his presence at the scene shows how deeply involved he is in the dangerous world his music reflects. Q50 is not someone rapping about a life he has never lived. He has been there when bullets flew. But Jeff was not the only family member Q50 lost to street violence. His cousin Bloodhound Zoni was killed on March 16, 2023, after being shot 29 times in a parking lot near 79th Street in Kimbark. Zoni's death was reportedly revenge for Lil Jeff stealing a chain from Trap City member Vel, sparking a feud that would ultimately claim Jeff's life as well. After these tragedies, Q50 stepped up in music, and the scene began to take him seriously. His criminal record further proves his connection to the streets. In 2025, He was sentenced to 1 year in jail for possessing a modified firearm capable of fully automatic fire, a weapon type often linked to serious street conflicts. One of the most controversial aspects of Q50's public image is how he balances authenticity with artistry. In tracks like Splash Brothers, he raps about actions that sound real, claiming to have caught 8 bodies. However, he has clarified in interviews that these claims are fictional, inspired by video games like Call of Duty, and not real confessions. Q50 insists he is like other rappers, creating stories in his lyrics to sound compelling, not confessing crimes. Despite this, the line between his music and reality has fueled controversy. A Trap Laura Ross documentary claimed that Q50 and Lil Jeff boasted about orchestrating hits for money, with Q50 allegedly claiming 8 murders and Jeff 10 or 11. Q50 has dismissed these interpretations, saying they misread his lyrics. Q50's rise to fame accelerated after Lil Jeff's death. He released his debut single, Splash Brothers, on July 26, 2024, shortly after Jeff's murder. The track gained over 2 million Spotify streams, and his following releases, like Don't Blink and Stare, amassed over 10 million streams, firmly establishing him as a rising star in the drill scene. Art and real life feed into each other. The impact on hip-hop culture has been harsh. The deaths of Pop Smoke, XXXTentacion, and many drill artists have drained creativity and perpetuated trauma in the genre. Each death shakes communities, sparking mourning and sometimes retaliation. Violence has become normalized in hip-hop culture, which is why rumors about Q50 being shot felt believable. Fans saw it as almost inevitable, given his background in the drill scene. The genre has created a world where young artists' deaths are consumed as content, survival becomes proof of authenticity, and the line between music and real-life danger disappears. Media coverage often focuses only on violent aspects, reinforcing stereotypes about rap and Black communities while ignoring the positive side of the culture. This sensationalism makes incidents like Q50's rumored shooting seem not just plausible but expected. Some figures in the industry have tried to change this. Nipsey Hussle, before his death in 2019, invested in businesses and programs to provide alternatives to street life. Jay-Z has funded social justice initiatives, and some labels offer security and guidance to young artists. But these efforts face challenges. Advising young artists to avoid risky behavior is hard when they have money, fame, and still maintain ties to dangerous neighborhoods. The pressure to stay real often conflicts with the need for safety. The legal system adds another layer of difficulty. Rap lyrics are increasingly used as evidence in criminal cases, blurring the line between artistic expression and legal responsibility. Cases like Young Thug show how lyrics can be cited as proof of gang activity, creating new risks for artists. The Q50 situation highlights these broader issues in hip-hop culture. Fans, media, and industry insiders quickly accepted the shooting rumors because violence has become normalized. When a 20-year-old artist's alleged near death can become entertainment in hours, it exposes a troubling reality. In certain parts of the rap community, violence and authenticity are inseparable.